Remember, a lot of times the person that spends $1 million on this thing, but that they can sell for $1 million is actually less financially irresponsible than the person who buys something for, let's say, 150,000 and it's only worth 75,000 or 100,000 6 months later. So this is the mindset that you need to get in. It's not how much money you spend on something, it's how much money you lose on something.
Right guys, today I will show you how to do this kind of animation inside After Effects. First off, you're gonna need some footage. I just grabbed the one from the latest video. Then the first step before we do anything inside After Effects, we want to make sure that the composition settings is right. Make sure it's 9:16. Click on the lock aspect ratio to uncheck it, because if you have it checked, it changes the other value, which we don't want. We want to change it independently. Click on the width, type in 1080, and the height should be 1920. And then you can lock it again, and it's 9:16 is exactly what we want. And the frame rate of 25 is fine. That's good. Now press the footage, press right click, then transform, and then fit to comp height, like this. The footage is kind of cramped. Normally there's a problem now in the footage. It's that it's way too near of the recording. But an easy fix we can do to mitigate this effect, just go on the top. And this is also an effect a lot of people use, and it has become really mainstream, but it's still valuable. And it also makes sure that everything is in bounds and nothing is out of proportion and it looks clean. Go to the top, press around the rectangle tool, again press shift, so you make sure it's perfectly centered, not fucked up. So press shift and then drag it with left click and make it approximately this size. This is fine for now. I'm gonna go to slice.txt, and because I talked about this in the last video, I made a new update, improved it, also the SRT importer. Now if you click on it, it centers everything and also centers the anchor point. It's exactly what we want, like this. And we can even rename this. This will be the matte. Just call it matte, it's fine. And make this red. Also the fill, I'm gonna do completely red. Then I also want to create a new solid. Right click solid and make it completely black. And this will be the background. Just call it BG. Drag it to the bottom. Then the matte, go to the properties and change the roundness to 125. And then press on the footage, and as the matte, select the matte. Perfect. And now you want to click on the footage and scale it down. 88 for now. Also what you need to make sure, when it's basically using the B cam, make sure that everything is in line. So if not, you could make a keyframe and then move it manually to the side, but this is already perfect. I want to make it a little bit more bigger. Gonna make sure the footage is 100. Yes, it's perfect like this. So this I'm gonna lock it in, basically footage at 100% and the matte fit, so it looks like this. That's good. Now for the next step, we want to go into Premiere Pro. I already have a project file here, and this is for the subtitles. I will import the footage, it's already cut down. Okay, make sure that everything is clean. Many people, they waste time on writing the subtitles manually, but there's a much better way to go about it. Especially if it's a longer video. If it would be a talking head, you would also do it like this. But in a reel, this is the optimal way. So we're gonna go at the top on Windows, then check for text, then click on it. Then here you have the text. Then it basically prompts you, Iman reel is untranscribed. Then you press on transcribe. You have to wait a little bit. Then it generates the text. And now you want to make sure that everything is right, and if not, you can correct it.
A lot of times, the person that spends $1 million.
But what I have to say, this works extremely well, especially when it's English. One problem I can tell you guys is this transcribe. I already was in contact with Adobe Community Support because I couldn't believe it when I made a commercial ad in another language. This only supports English. Yes, you have the option to make a static transcript, but it's very limited. So if you have another language, you have to do this, and then you can change the language. These settings you can keep manual, but only change it if you have multiple speakers. But for English, it works the best. I never have problems. I also use this technique on the YouTube tutorials, so it's very useful. So everything is right. I didn't need to change anything. Next step is press create captions. Then you don't have to change anything. It really doesn't matter. But what I like to do is change it to single and keep all of this. And if I would subtitle in Premiere Pro, of course I have presets, I will just use the style. Can make a video on this down the line. There's a lot of time, especially if you have a lot of videos, you have to do a preset. But for now, we are not going to do this in Premiere Pro because we're going to change it as a caption and then export it to After Effects and bridge it with my plugin. Create captions, that's done. Also now what I like to do, what many people don't know, is make sure that everything is how I want it to be. Because sometimes it cuts it off and there's like an empty space. So I always make sure it's fully placed throughout the video. For example, in the end you can see it's cut off. So I'm gonna extend it. Also sometimes if you wanna get really technical, if you really want to level up your videos, one thing But this is the benefit when you do the video cut yourself. You, for example, when you would have cut it yourself, you have the cut here. And then you can just align it here directly. And then always the caption switches with the cut. This is like a pet peeve of me. When I see a video and the caption doesn't change when the camera changes, especially when he's finished with the word. I'm pretty sure it's the case here. Okay, it's not the case here, but often it's the case. Or for example, when there's a cut in the footage, like here. I like it much more because you don't want to disrupt the footage ever. But when you have to do it, make sure everything does it on the same. Now look for the difference.
This thing, but then
This looks extremely unprofessional. Many people do that. And now check how it looks. It is perfectly synced. Nobody really thinks, oh yes, the subtitles switched at a different timing. It just looks off. And the most annoying is when the camera switches and the caption should switch, but it doesn't switch. So this is also a small thing you can keep in mind. I'm gonna go through all the footage and check it, and then I'm gonna come back to you guys. All right, now everything is perfectly timed. Made sure everything looks clean.
6 months later. So this is the
Perfect. Now go back on the top on the text, then press on the 3 dots, then press export, and then export as SRT file. Then we're gonna go into assets and just call this, we can keep Iman Reel 1, save. And now just close the Premiere file, we don't need it anymore. Perfect, so now that we have it exported, I'm gonna go to my website and show you guys something. I will use the SRT importer, and after the Slice.txt, but basically this tool helps you to import SRT files. There are a few other ones on the market, but basically mine is the best one. So if you wanna follow this, check down in the description below, check out my website and grab this tool. I recently also dropped the update, so everything is fine. If you want to have some new features or you stumble upon a new problem, write me an email and I will fix it immediately. Most of the time in a couple of hours or in a couple of days, it will be very fast. But it always depends on the scope of what needs to be done and if it makes sense. So I can close this again. I already have the SRT importer here. Just make sure it's in the script UI panel and then go to extensions and then press SRT importer. Now it's here. Here also the usage instructions, basically completely simple. So we're gonna press on the big button, SRT import, then go into the folder, assets, and then select the SRT file, then press open. And now it created the text perfectly, exactly centered, exactly what we want. It's a dream, guys. And most of the time it takes into account the styling you had beforehand. So I recently downloaded the Apple font, San Francisco Pro. You can download it for free on Apple. Can recommend it to you guys for the Apple style. Just on a side note, just go here and download all this for free. This one. But again, Proxima Nova is still my favorite for the Apple style. Alright, now most of the stuff is already done. What now comes into play, and also which plugin I'm gonna use more now, is the Slice.txt. Also a plugin I just recently dropped. You can find down in the description down below on my website. This tool, basically you can create a text, then slice it up per words or per characters, which I showed in the previous videos, and also the alignment. And I basically dropped an update for these two. So now the alignment works for everything, as I told you before, and the text is now reliably A native. So if you want to create a text, you press on the A, you can type in hello text test, and it immediately changes the layer name and it's native, and you can just press on here, then it's centered. Perfect, that's already done. And if you really want to make sure that everything is centered, you can just select everything we just made and then press here again, and you can see it's already centered, so we don't even need it. A few animations I want to add, especially to the mat. I'll go to 2 seconds, press U to reveal everything, and then make sure to press on this keychain to unlock it and make a keyframe at 2 seconds or even at 2.15, it's fine. Go to the beginning, reduce the size to 500, that's fine. I'm gonna go to the flow plugin, and again, I dropped a free flow plugin presets pack, all of the presets I use. For the time being, I'm still using the flow plugin, but I'm in the works of developing a much better one, so you can look forward for that. But basically, if you go into the community, you can grab the free flow plugin presets here, the club source, and then just press on the flow plugin and import the library like this. And I'm also planning on dropping a few more free assets, so look out for this soon. So you can close this and select the keyframes. Just click on this, select the size and press on the delay in 2 times, and then the easing is applied. You can check it in the graph editor like this. Also, if you want your more granular, you can go into the value graph. Then you see what we just changed. And there's also the speed graph. And the speed graph tells you where it's fast. So you see on this point, the movement is the fastest, is 600 units per second. But the real curve, and what we just did in Flow, is we manipulated the value graph. Also, the next thing I want to add, to make it even cleaner, right click new and make a null object. And I will call this scale, so I can make the color a little bit different. I'm gonna make this purple. The text I'm going to change to green. Now I'm going to parent only the layers that are affected. These, the 4 first, basically, so it's everything is in between these few seconds, because when it scales up, the border, the letterbox, however you want to call it, also want to introduce a scale. Select only the footage, not the matte, not the background. Go up, select the scale, then press S, keyframe the scale, make a keyframe here, go forward. But I'm going to press U on the matte again, so I see the keyframes, go forward. This is how you can jump easily between keyframes, especially when you have a lot of it or multiple stacked. Press here and then you can just jump back and forth and you go to the exact second of the keyframe. So the first one will be here in its final stage, and here I will scale in. Just gonna do 150 and test it out, and then apply the delay in again.
A lot of times,
Also, the problem is that the camera changes, so I want to reduce the whole thing. The matte, the size, and the scale of the null object both are until 1 second in the composition exactly, and I applied the in ramp easing. Then you can close everything.
A lot of times,
The next step, also important, to do this. I'm gonna duplicate the footage at the bottom with Command D. Then make sure that the speaker is off. When I watch videos on the internet, so many people are amateurs when it comes to this. They forget to turn it off. And you see, when there's rotoscoping, the volume always doubles. It's actually funny if you look out for it. But what I wanna do, put this to the top. One thing you need to make sure is that every time the camera switches, you make a cut. Because if you apply the rotoscope, sometimes it works, but you have to imagine the rotoscope is already really good. They have like Sensei 3.0 and it switches relatively good with AI, but it's not good enough because we want to have it perfect. So just go through the footage. You can also open this preview tab. I like to use it. Basically window and then preview. Make sure to jump between frames in the footage. So when the camera switches, press Shift, Command D. Go forward until it changes again. Go through the whole footage and make sure it is always switching when needed. You could even make it more crazy and after every cut make it, but don't want to go too overboard. This is where my animation will come in, so we can cut this off. That's done. Now let's go to the first one. Make sure the resolution is at full. It's a very important step. Also make sure that the composition setting matches the frame rate of the footage. We can even check this in the project manager, and you can clearly see 25 FPS and 25 FPS in the composition. So resolution at full, then double click on the first one, go at the top and press on this man next to the pencil. This is the rotoscope tool. And to zoom in and out, it's just scrolling with the middle mouse wheel, and you can go around
for a lot of times
and not affect it while pressing spacebar like this. And to make the rotoscope circle bigger and smaller is you have to press Command on the keyboard and then left click. This is the size I want to have, like this. And so to start, draw on him. Make sure that everywhere he's green where he's visible. This footage is very good for this because the background is clearly distinguished from him. Oftentimes when you work with client footage, they blend into the background like a chameleon, but it's bad. So sometimes when the footage, and you just keep go of it and then it analyzes it, but we have to improve it. Sometimes when the background is not really distinguished, you can apply some color grading, but we don't even need this. You can just do it manually. So zoom in. Also make sure that the glasses are captured. So you want to go completely inside. You can even double click on the layer, this to make it full screen, more granular control. And now to delete stuff you over selected is you press Option and then it becomes red. And you can see right now it's a plus in the middle, as you can see. And when you press Option, it gets a minus, so you delete it. I'm gonna make it smaller, then press Option and delete what we don't want with red. Make sure to select what you want again. And I'm gonna do this now for the whole as frame and make sure everything is clean. Also the table, I also want to select, so I'm gonna go all the way here. So make sure everything else is selected. That's perfect. If you really want to go overboard, you could empty this out, but I'm not going to do this because this often leads to artifacts. This is already solid. Cleaned up on his hair. Hair is often the most crucial thing or the glasses fucks it up often. So that's good. Can minimize it again. And also how I do this is just double click on the name and then it makes it bigger or smaller. Now press Fit and then click on the freeze button, basically where this man sits like this, and now it calculates the rest of the frames. Now after pressing the freeze and when everything is rendered, make sure that everything is aligned and only the subject is inside the purple circle. Also, many people don't know you can actually change the rendering. For example, to have a color, change it, you can make this pink or some shit, then you can see it maybe even better, make it white. It's up how you want to do it. But this is already pretty good, and you can also make it black and white. But now we're gonna go into the fine tuning, and many people don't even know that this is an option, but I discovered it early on. And before I used an extra plugin at Effects and Presets, and it's called Refine Matte. And I like to use the soft matte, but somehow a new update fucked it up. So now I always go into the Roto Brush Refine tool and modify the settings themselves there. And the feather, especially if it's like a talking head video, I always use the settings, and if you want you can copy them, but you can manually tweak it, maybe you get better results, but this is what I use. For the feather, 30, and for the reduced chatter, always put it up to 100. And as you can see, it looks smooth, and it's not so jagged, it's not so fucked up, it's just clean now. I like it much more. If you don't like these black spots, you could shift the edge inward, and you can see they disappear. So this is just a tip. This is a little bit more perfect, but I will go with this because it's already solid. But again, if the text crosses on him and it's like a shitty black spot, you can always shift the edge a little bit backwards or outwards. This is the settings I always use. Now go onto the top and click on this layer, deselect it. This is now done. Now I will apply this for the rest of the footage, and then I will come back to you guys. Alright, now everything is done. Make sure to apply the same settings over everything. Also I really color this to blue, so it's better distinguishable. The scale, drag to the top again. Now as you can see, the text is always in the background, which is exactly what I want. And first what I do before I animate this text, I will do the animation at the end. Make sure to drag it up. Alright, now for this part, I want to select all these text, scale them down, center them with slice txt. Also I want 2 text layers. I don't want it split up. So the one text subtitle I will select here and add it in the beginning, and something to the other end here.
And on something is how much money.
And check where it changes, and it's exactly here, so we'll drag it to here and here like this. Center both of these again.
Get in. It's not how much money you spend on something.
So I will introduce a line break here, so make sure to remove this, it's unnecessary. This is good. Make sure it's centered in the middle like this. Then again center the anchor point and the text. Alright, now for the font I will use the Casimir medium italic here, and then for this also Casimir medium, for this the regular italic, and then I will change this to bold italic like that. Again, make sure center the anchor point, make sure it's inside of the box. This also want to introduce the same styling I have in the other one. Just make this regular italic and then change this to bold italic. Right now I have this text placed. Now press right click, new, and make a solid. Just keep this black, and this will be, again, we can call this grid, some shit. Then move this to the back. We only want it when the animation happens. Now go to effects and presets. Want to add the grid effect, generate a grid like this. Then change the size form to width slider, and I will change it to 28. Zoom in. The border I will put to 4. Opacity to 15. Probably change this down the line. And now duplicate it. Then remove the grid from the bottom, and this will be just the background of the animation. Now go to the top and click on the ellipse tool and press shift to make a circular thing like that. And I will color this blue. Just take this blue, that's fine. You can copy this if you want. Center the anchor point, move it down to here, and also move it to the back. We only need it here. Then move this down. This will be under the grid. For this, I'm gonna go to effects and presets and add the deep glow effect from aescripts.com. Then turn the radius to 2000. Check how it looks good. Just want to make sure this fall off is not too extreme. A clean gradient. Alright, the threshold you want to set to 40. Turn this to the max. It's fine for now. What I will do for the exposure, I will do 1.5. That's actually perfect. Copy the background with Command D and turn it at the top. And this will just call this black. Then press T, and this opacity will be brought down to 50%. And first we'll mute this. So disable the grid and press P on the shape layer, and this will be bubble 1. And then on the position, press Option, left click on the position to type in an expression. just type in wiggle, you can press enter on it, then 0.25 and then a comma and then 400. So the first one is the frequency, I'm pretty sure, and this is the amplitude, something like that. Now you can see it shakes around loosely. If you want, you can put this up so the movement is higher to 800. That's already fine.
You spend on something.
I'll go with 400, and this dictates how fast it moves. So if we had this at 25, it jumps around fast as fuck. So that's good. Then duplicate this. This will be the second one, and this, move this at the top left like that. Then make sure everything looks clean. Bring this down a little bit. Good for now. Now go back into the grid. Then make sure that everything looks clean. Also, I'll change the color of the grid to black, like that. Now play with the grid so it looks clean as fuck. 20 for the width, border 4, then color black, opacity 50. That's perfect. Now, remember I made this black one. This is just to dampen it down a little bit. Turn this to 10%, check. So it basically dampens the background down. You can even turn this maybe to 25. And if you want, you can also play with the opacity of the bubbles itself. Just change them to 80%.
Money you spend on.
And to make it even better, I will create a new adjustment layer like that. Move it to the back. This, move it down above the bubbles. This will be the FFX. This will be just the color effects. Also, all these things, we can change the color to blue. So you know this is for the animation. On the FFX, add a fast box blur. This will be to smoothen everything out. Turn it up a lot. Turn this up to 250 even. The iterations, you can change this, basically change the quality, but just go with 1 for now. But you have to play around with it. It always depends on your exact setup, how it looks best. There's no real, this is the best setting to check how it looks. So the first bubble, I wanted to place it a bit more to the right, like that, down. One more thing, type in mosaic and under stylize, double click the mosaic. Sometimes this gives like a game vibe and it looks fire as fuck, but
Lose on something.
you can see how it looks, guys. But I like it, so I will keep it. Mosaic 2020, that's good. Now onto the text, get effects and presets and add a deep glow. Then turn it down, turn the radius to 500. The exposure down 0.0.1, and also I want to apply gradient ramp, this one, and put this to the top like this. Make sure that the start of the ramp is at the top here in white, and then here at the bottom it gets black. Also a quick tip to level up the reel would be to add B-roll, but we don't have any B-roll, so we're not going to do that. One more thing I want to add to make it even more clean is a CC light sweep. This one, you can already see what it does. And what I want to do is take the center, place it in the middle, then drag it to the left side to here, then make a keyframe, then press U to reveal the keyframe properties, and just keyframe, go to the end and drag it all the way to the right. So it is one swipe. Perfect. Drag this back. Now change up the settings. Also make sure it's before the deep glow, because if you do it right, how I will do it, it will trigger the deep glow and look really clean. You can check here what it does. Basically lights up the dark parts of the text. So these are my settings now. For the CC light sweep, the direction is -30, width is 125, sweep intensity 150, and the rest is 0. That's perfect. Check how it looks.
You get it. It's not how much money you spend on something, it's how much money you lose.
Also, you want to make sure that it goes exactly where he talks about it. So
it's not how much money you spend on something, it's
perfect. Now go to the front, select everything, close it like this. Make sure that the keyframe is selected. Then press Command C. On the next one, press Command V, and then check everything is applied right. Perfect. You can close everything here. And I want to emphasize when he says loose. So I will go to the top on the pen tool, turn up the resolution to full. Here, to the right side, make sure it's smooth. Go to properties, fill we can remove. Take the blue, make it lighter. That's perfect. Also make sure it's rounded. So click on this one and you can see it has rounded edges. Then press on the scale. Also make sure it's only at the end. Change the color to green because it's for the text. And you want to take the anchor point, and the anchor point should be, grab it, exactly on this point here, on the most middle left. That's good. Go back, press scale, press on this keychain, make a keyframe at the beginning, drag it to the back to 10 here, then break this to 0, so it scales up. Go to the flow plugin and gonna try the smooth aliasing. So I'll grab the deep glow from the text, put it onto here, play around with the values. Gonna go with 0.05. I don't quite like it yet. Change the stroke width to 4. Alright, that's good for now. Now take the control and split it up. Basically press Command, Shift and D, and this will be the control like that. Then parent everything to it we just made. Bubble everything from here. Then pull this down and this to here. Then make a keyframe for the scale. You can remove the first one here, the scale, and also the position. Then press U to reveal the keyframe properties. Position we'll need in the back. The scale, put the scale in here. So go to 150 and to 5 seconds or something. Then go to the flow plugin. In ramp. Also want to grab the FFX at the bottom, duplicate it, put this on top of everything. Then remove the mosaic. And this will be the blur. Turn this to 3 and blur radius to 5%. Make a keyframe, go forward to 0. Keyframe this both.
Then it's not how much money you spend.
Then make a keyframe for the position and scale. Then when he talks about the loose, we want to scale in. So before the shape line starts, make a keyframe for position and scale. Then scale in like that. Go to the side like that. Also we want to remove the easing on the scale. To do this, just select it and then press Command on it. Now they are normal keyframes. Close everything. Can even play around with the text colors now.
You lose on something.
Create a eclipse tool like that and make a selection behind the text like this. Center it in the middle, make it black, make sure it's only beginning, and this will be the shadow, or this will be below the text, and make the fill black, show color none. Now grab a fast box blur, turn it up like this so it's dispersed out, so make sure it looks clean. That's good, you can even scale it up. So now we have an independent background. Turn this maybe to 60. Also both of the bubbles, I don't like the behavior when it's zoomed in. So what I'm gonna do is just cut it off when it switches the sides like that, and position these two at a new place so it fits the zoomed in state. Something like that.
You lose on something, bro.
And also the opacity and the scale I want to keyframe here of the shadow, and go one forward and then check how this looks to 110. Preview it.
It's how much money you lose on something.
Also the position, make a position keyframe, go one forward of the position so it's the loose is the middle, 60 even. Then go to the end and turn this to 80. So it basically blackens out the background.
Money you lose on something.
Alright guys, now before we do the main subtitles in the beginning, I'm gonna go back to the animation we have at the end, select everything we just did from the background until the shape layer. We can also, this will be the line, select everything, and then as a track matte, you want to click on it and select the matte. So it is like this. Now I want to focus on the timing of the text and make sure all the stylings are clean. So first, I'm gonna take this foreground text. And now I'm gonna go through everything, change the font, change the sizes, and animate everything on when he speaks it. Then that's practically it. Also apply some stylization on the text. But I'm gonna test out a few fonts and check what looks best. And the first text, for example, I want in front. So I'm gonna take it like that. Gonna change the font, make a bold one, take the Montserrat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will change all of these font subtitles to Montserrat for now. Montserrat. Just take medium for now, it's fine. And for this now we need slice.txt. Again, I'm gonna be using that. You can check down in the description on my website. For the first text, you wanna press into properties and make sure you click this TT, basically so it's capitalized, all of it. Then make sure to introduce some variation. Take it like this. Also, I want to introduce the styling now directly. So I have Montserrat black and center the anchor point, put it here in the middle, like this, it's fine.
A lot of times, the person that spends $1 million.
The effects and presets at the deep glow. Then we want to decide how much we want to. Also a drop shadow.
A lot of times,
press right click, make a solid and make it black. And this will be the light. Take this, put this below the text here and press P. Take the second value, drag this down. Then press on the star here, then go to the top, fast box blur, then make it vertical only, drag this up to maybe 150 like that, and that's just so it's a bit colored out, so you can read the text better, and turn the opacity to 80%, like that. Also make sure that this is parented to the scale, so it scales together. That's perfect.
A lot of times the person...
Now you want to go through everything and place the text where it should be with the right font, with the right styling, and then we're going to slice it up and then we're going to animate it.
A lot of times.
For now we can grab these two stylings and copy this onto all the other text. Perfect. So take this text.
And the person that spends
For this I'm going to take the Casimir again.
The person that spends
Also I want to change the background so it's white, so I can see where it cuts off the text, the subtitles. Also make sure that the matte for all of the subtitles is the matte, like this, so it's always cut out. Perfect. And you can also reduce it so it's like a slight gray. You can see the difference. Also want to make sure that the text stays for a longer period of time, so this stays until the next part.
On this $1 million.
And also when he says $1 million, it should be separated, so I will cut this out and like that. Make sure this is dragged out. Take the 1 million, make sure it's kept again, like that. Take this to the front, and for the font I will take Montserrat Black. We'll change the spans to a different one, to bold italic, like that. And I don't like the 1 million, it looks a bit trash. Change it to bold only, and also change the color on it. Make it green, like this. Make sure this is placed under here, like that. That's perfect. And for this I will just use the medium italic and make it smaller. So guys, this is a lot of playing around. Also I can reuse the $1 million because he says it here again. Take this, move it to here, then place this one at the top, and I will change this to a 3D layer. Turn the X rotation like that with this crazy styling. Make it bigger, make sure it's below his head. Also this one I want to make 3D, and also this one I will change to a 3D layer and apply it into the different direction, like this. So now it's big like that. So the color of this, I'm gonna change this to red because here he spends. And then this, change the font to Casimir again. Take Casimir medium, put this in the front. These two here, Casimir bold, and these two I will change to medium and this one to light. You always need to make sure that you make the text layers overlap so they are more existing for longer times. This is the whole trick of this style. Take all these, change to Casimir medium, oh no, even less. Casimir light, zoom in position is actually less. This we wanna make bold italic. These two we can change to bold, make it bigger, place this in the middle, and this, sure I will place it in the front. Change this to Montserrat. Check out how the bold looks, make sure it's capped again, and take this, make this bigger, scale the whole thing down. There's a lot of playing around, guys. There's no one size fits all. This takes in the middle. For this I want to grab the light again. Going to grab this text, put this here, add a line break, make it left aligned so it fits the style here. And here I will make the text disappear and then add this one. Change this to medium, this to bold italic. And for all these money mentions, want to isolate it so it's only money. So select all of these, make it single them out like that. And while you press command, you can hear the audio. So on this exact point he's finished. So we'll split it up. Take the top one, cut the first part off, go to the first one, make sure it's only the number. It's perfect. Now the next one. I also want to split this up. So the top one is 100,000 and the other one is the first number.
5,000.
Cut this exactly where he says it.
100,000.
So we don't need this behind.
Later. So this
De-isolate them again, and I want to make sure that all of these are this full duration, like that. Then the money, can colorize this again, but for now we're not gonna do that. So these numbers, take them to the front, you can see them better, and make them all capped out and Montserrat bold. Check first how this looks. Drag the light out. Then I will select all of these, press S, Shift P, and now select the first one, make a copy, select the other ones, and now it's basically copied on top. I can cut these off so only the number he says is displayed. For both I will use the red. You can also make sure that the scale shows that the number is smaller. So we can use a smaller amount, but we want to make this subtle. So 200 and this maybe only for 210. And now this text, isolate it again. And for this, I want to make it right aligned and change the font. And again, make this bold italic. And we can keep this medium. Remove this and drop this at the top here, for example. 6 months later, isolate it again. And that, for this I'm gonna use the old font and make it light. And this one will be bold italic. No, only bold, too much italic going on. And remove the dot, you don't wanna use a dot. This is not in the overlay, it looks shit. So a line break here and make this left aligned. Put this to the top left. Also play around with this value so it matches the other one. For this we will use Casimir and just add the first one in the middle, then this one under it, and add a line break here, make it left aligned. What I will do is use Montserrat bold, make it bigger so it overlays into the head, but you still want to see it. Get this, change this to extra bold italic and this to regular.
6 months later. So this is the mindset that you need to get in.
I want to make this smaller like that. Remove the dot again, change the spacing here. All right, this is now done. Now we can change the background color, remove the fill. And now what I need to do, we slice up everything and animate everything properly. All right, so one thing we need to animate directly is the light. So select this light here, then go to the Animation Composer, Motion Presets, 2D Transitions, then Fade and Position, Ease, and 1. This one, then select in. So you can go through everything, modify it. For example, this I want to make extra bold and this semi-bold. Now it comes to slicing. So we're gonna isolate it, grab the first one and press on slice txt and slice it by pressing one time. We slice it by words. And also we want to activate delete original because we don't need it. Click on it. Now it's separated. We're gonna select everything. Go to the Animation Composer, go to Starter Presets, Transitions 2D, then Gaussian, Blur and Fade East. This one. Press on in, go to the beginning. First we'll only apply this to the first one and then check out the rest. So we'll isolate this. It's a little bit too much blur, so take this blur, change to 25.
A lot of times the person that's...
And I also want a slight move up of the layer. So we're gonna go to Motion Presets, 2D Transitions, Position, Overshoot, Overshoot Position 1, and then Bottom, and then In. But we will reduce this massively. Go to Animation Composer, change this to 25. That's good. Then click on Animation Composer, and then on Edit, Preset Actions, and then copy presets all, like this. Select the rest of the text and then paste it on top like that. Now select all of these layers, and that's the real benefit of slice txt. Now you can manipulate every of the words however you want. So we're gonna single them out. This, press on this button. Then he says then the lot, then the off, and then the times.
A lot of times the person that's... A lot.
So one thing I need to change is go on the Animation Composer, Edit, then shift the markers and shift them all forward like that. Then cut it off. I'm gonna go into Animation Composer again and shift the markers until they're back. So it looks much more cleaner, so they have more time to go out. That's good.
A lot of times the person...
The next text, go to slice txt, slice it up with the knife. Go to here, we'll just copy the same presets. Go to here, copy it, select all of the layers, go to the Animation Composer, edit, paste it in, then stagger descendingly. We can drag a few frames. And also I want to do a quick backstory on the two plugins I made. The first plugin, the SRT importer, when I made a high-end commercial ad for Sebastian Schilinski, who I worked with from Iron Media, a very big German marketing agency. And I wanted to do a reel like this, and I just didn't have the time to type everything in manually. So then I made a plugin to bridge the gap between SRT exported files from Premiere Pro to After Effects. And the slice txt is also very useful for this workflow. You could technically do it on your own, just cut it out every time and make this manually, but this is a massive time saver, guys. So again, scrub through the timeline, press Command, and make sure that everything fits when he says it. Then the $1 million. Here we could even slice it up per character. So I'm gonna do press Shift and on the knife. Now it's sliced by characters. Select everything, then paste the presets to here. We're not gonna make it too complicated, so we're gonna go with the same. Also I will save the project file and clear the cache. We're not gonna go too complicated, but you could make a lot of different move-ins from left to right, from top to bottom. I'm not gonna do this here, but you could manually modify it so it gets this look.
$1 million on this thing.
I don't know, I will slice it also by words. Just click one time on it, then select everything, then go to edit, paste the same presets onto it, go to edit, stagger descendingly one time, and then also grab the markers and put them forwards. Make sure the cut again happens here. Then I can take the transitions, even move them a little bit forward, and then the markers bring them back again.
On this thing, but then
now you can modify each of them on your own. For example, for this, I made the fade out now faster.
On this thing, but then they can sell
This off.
But then they can sell.
Then this, cut by words. Also this, cut per words. This, select everything. Go to edit, paste the presets onto it. Okay, we need to make sure that these markers are more in the front. Now this $1 million, cut it up into characters with shift and make everything that. There's also a limitation. When you slice it, it always opens up all the properties. I tried everything, couldn't figure it out how to fix it, but it's on my list, guys. So go to the Animation Composer, edit, paste it on there, then stagger it descendingly, click one time, it's enough. Then shift the transition forward, check how it looks.
Sell for $1 million is actually less can sell for $1 million is actually less sell for $1 million is actually less
Okay, when this cut, I need to make sure that everything is cut off. This, now again, slice this into words, press one time on it, make them smaller. You could individualize everything, but we don't want to make it too crazy like that. It's already perfect. And with this method, you have the perfect control. You can control everything exactly how you need. Make sure it's like that. Okay, for this, for example, I want to reduce now the blur. So you can go into here, change it to 15, go to here, change to 15. It's a problem of Animation Composer. You can't really change it inside here. And now you can see.
Less financially irresponsible.
We can even reduce it even more. Change this to 5. Check how it looks.
Actually less financially irresponsible than
Okay, I like it, man. But I will just go through and then we can modify it down the line. It's always no problem to do it after the fact. So cut all these text off. Then this text in the front, slice it by words. Because the blur always looks more extreme the smaller the text is. It's a contingency you have to think about. Apply it here, then stagger descendingly. And for the 150,000 and these numbers, I will use a different method. I will go to Animation Composer, then go to Overshoot Position. I'll show you where it is exactly. It's at Motion Presets, 2D Transitions, Position, Overshoot, Overshoot Position 1. And then select the right one. And this will be the in, then go back. And the left will be the out. Okay, I don't like the bounces, so I'll remove it. But one thing we need to change, also I want to introduce the blur also to it. So again, go to the motion per presets, 2D transitions, fade cube again. So I really recommend you guys just favorite these, then it's much easier. Like I favorite everything I use all the time, and then press both. I can also show you my presets if you're interested. These are most of them. Also a lot of text presets, whole lot of stuff. Okay, I forgot to use the blur. Wait, it's this one. Motion presets, starter presets, transitions 2D. Then you want to use this one like that, like this one, and then press both. You can see it's too much again. This is shit, man. I have to redevelop Animation Composer because you cannot control the blur, which is actually annoying as fuck. But what you can do, press this here, change this to 20, then the same on to this one. Change this to 20, go to the back, 20. So what's important now is you need to make sure that the layers, you have to extend them. So go to Animation Composer and then shift the transitions. And this, click 2 times, and then here 2 times. Then check again. And this one at the end we can remove the out, just cut it off. Now we have to cut these up. Slice TXT again, press on the knife, and then here. Make everything smaller, select everything. We'll go to the beginning, grab these, grab the presets, and then paste it onto all these layers. Edit, paste, and stagger descendingly. Then also stagger here descendingly. Now we want to cut this off. But we're just gonna drag it back so it removes itself. 6 months later.
100,000 6 months later.
And I like to do the cuts basically when the footage skips. So here it skips. So put everything here, cut it here.
100,000 6 months later.
Then make sure all of these are here and cut it up.
6 months later. So this is the mindset.
Then again, cut up by words and this also. Then make everything smaller. Select all of them and apply edits, paste. Then stagger descendingly, make everything fit.
So
All these, and we can even make it longer because it doesn't matter, we have the overlay here. Okay, now I want to modify a few things so it looks more clean. For example, these pop-ups, I want to remove the blur. So what I'm gonna do is select everything, remove it, then go to text presets and only introduce a fade cubic in and out, these ones, and press in.
But then they can sell for $1 million.
Like that, and take the markers and make it more into front.
But then they can sell for $1 million.
Also change the transitions forward.
But then they can sell for $1 million is actually less financially irresponsible than the person.
And I will take this, copy it, and now modify everywhere where I want. For example, also on this thing, I want to change it so it's the same.
Less financially irresponsible than the person who buys something for, let's say, 150,000.
And also here. So we have more variation.
Or 100,000 6 months later. So this
Also here, change it so it's the new one.
6 months later. So this is the mindset that you
Also change these to also use only the fade in like that. And now one more thing it's missing, it's this text at the end. And to animate this, again, same spiel we did before. Click on it, slice it per text and per words. This also is perfect. So I will use the ease fade position in this one. It's motion presets, 2D transitions, fade and position, ease, and then ease fade position 1. Press in.
It's not how much money you
And reduce this to 25. Now make sure everything fits like this. Again, I want to make sure that the markers are all inside and then cut it off. Take the markers again and drag them back. It's the only method because if the marker is here and you cut it off and it's there, you remove the fade and then it looks trash. Okay, but I don't like that it's not in the same speed this one, so I will make this longer. This, and now these are also split up. Just take the first one, preset action, copy, select everything, paste it onto here and stagger descendingly.
lose on some.
Also, I want to parent the line to this text, to the loose. So parent this to the loose, this, and now it moves up together.
Lose on something for a long time.
Alright, this is good. You can improve like small things. You could add like money overlays, but this is more simplistic. You could add a little bit more variation. You could change the color of this, of the bubbles, but this is completely fine. This is exactly how I wanted to showcase the style to you guys, because I saw it a few times and I wanted to showcase how it works. So it's pretty crazy. This is very in detail, like every fucking word, every letter you can. This is exactly what I like, man. The full control here. This is perfect, guys. I will also, as for every time, I will give you a few suggestions what you could add, what I would add maybe if I would spend more time on this project. You could add a few of the blurs. You could add a film blur. For example, here was like the camera, a film blur here. You could add a little bit more sound effects. You can change, even check this, turn this up maybe to 88. Could modify a lot of stuff. Could also add like money explosions, how I already told. And you could add scale-ins, because you have the full control here. You could just go to the scale and scale it in and parent it to the text, of course, and do a whole lot of crazy shit. But yeah, this is like the professional workflow for this kind of style. And also one thing you could do is color grade the footage, but I didn't want to do it. I wanted to keep it natural, to keep the look intact. But that's also one thing you could do. If you want to see a color grading tutorial, I can also drop it soon. Alright guys, so the animation is now done. Check it out how it looks.
A lot of times, the person that spends $1 million on this thing, but that they can sell for $1 million is actually less financially irresponsible than the person who buys something for, let's say, 150,000 and it's only worth 75,000 or 100,000 6 months later. So this is the mindset that you need to get in. It's not how much money you spend on something, it's how much money you lose on something.
Right guys, this is the video. If you have any questions about this episode, drop in the comments. If you have any suggestions for the next video, also drop in the comments. By the way, if you're interested in both the plugins I used, these are on my website, you can find them there. Also the project file will be dropped on Patreon, will be included everything in this file where you can find all the assets. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends so they can see the source. That's it, bye guys.